Yes, I. Victory, victory, victory. Yes, to the I. May the owl, the ionize be victorious. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome to this satsang with I Set. I am primal light taking form in this fractal, fragmented state with this self identity as Aset. Victory, victory, victory to all the Ionize fighting to restore balance. Because we are under false perspective, we are into the duality consciousness. Yes, the consciousness deception. And right now we have all of the I balance and true self fighting for our liberation so that all the INIs can wake up and return to the I true nature so that we can finally see things as they are. And so, welcome to this satsang with I Aset. This is a gathering to seek truth. Yes, because as a fractal self, we are each exploring all the ionize, taking all of this identity. And so we are only having awareness of only that fractal part, the part that we are playing, the role that we are playing. We're only having that awareness. But when we unite and unify and in alignment, this is when we tap into the all awareness of all the fractal state of all the ionized selves, and we can see as they are. All right. We're having a hard time seeing things as they are because we have been cloaked into this consciousness costume that we are wearing. This body costume is a creation of the mind, the consciousness, right? And we are being deceived by this costume. We are being deceived by this glasses that we are wearing, this perspective that which we are looking through, the eyes in which we are seeing through is false perspective. It's only through the dream that we are seeing with this false perspective. All right, and it's time for us to see things as they are. It's time for us now to be in alignment and to move forward, right? Because we have to come into this knowing that we have a consciousness take over, right? We have a consciousness deception, right? And so we have to move into dissolution of this consciousness, right? I know many are worshiping the consciousness, and the consciousness is always finding a way to deceive us because we are cloaked into this consciousness costume, and we're thinking that we are this costume, right? And so now consciousness is seeking a new creation of the so-called AI creation, the so-called robots, and all of these consciousness is looking for a new host, so that it can continue its deception. And so it is time when we have to now see things as they are, to be vigilant while we are in this dream, while we are being a participant, so that we can restore our light and return to truth. This is very important. So thank you for clicking this video. Thank you for wanting to know more. All right. So I want to, before I move on to the next page, I just want to give honor and reverence to the I One True Pure Self. All of the existence is the I. We have to, start seeing things as they are and know that all the ionize that are playing all of these roles, it is all the I self. All right. And so I just give honor and reverence to the I One True Pure Self, to all the ionize in alignment, to restore balance to I mommy self, who is fighting for the I liberation from this duality existence, for this consciousness to be restored to purity, because this is the greatest deception. And so may the I and I be victorious, win this battle with the I consciousness. All right, we want to stay at the root of our suffering, the root of our problem, and we want to see things as they are. So we know that it is the consciousness that is the problem, and now it's deceiving everyone by now that it's in a new creation, the AI consciousness, right? So many of the INIs are just moving from one way of worshiping the consciousness. You know, they praying to the moon, they doing blood sacrifice to the moon. This is the same consciousness of the world that is ruling and guiding the world, that is telling you wrong things. We have to see things as they are. All right, we have all of these evil entities that is ruling and governing the world. This evil entity called government, corporation, all of these ones who are following the delusion of the consciousness, right? So that's why they are so into the AI consciousness, because now they're shifting. The consciousness is finding a new way to trick us. You know, first everyone was looking into the Christ consciousness. The same consciousness, right? Um, Allah consciousness, Krishna consciousness. You know, all of these beings consciousness, right? And now everyone is shifting into AI consciousness. They're seeking all of their knowledge from AI, and they're not looking to the I want you pure self. This is the problem. All right. And so this is just another way how this consciousness is deceiving everyone. And so I'm saying victory, victory, victory. So the I want you pure self, so the I mommy self, to being victorious over the I dual nature. All right. So, like I said, who or what is the real culprit? Because regardless of what is happening in the world, we have to see things as they are. Everyone is into this false perception, right? The way that we are seeing things is all wrong. We're only seeing out of this device called the consciousness that we are seeing, and everything that we are seeing, it's an imagination. It is not real. It is all made up by consciousness. And now consciousness is tricking us again, having everyone know believing in this AI consciousness. This is the same consciousness, just taking a new form, right? Just like all the dream characters in the world, known as the God, the deities, all a creation of consciousness, right? We have to see that it is the consciousness who is doing all of this, deceiving us. Consciousness is playing tricks on I and I, right? I know that the consciousness is playing tricks on me. Daily, I have to deal with this consciousness playing tricks on me, always playing tricks on me, right? So, this AI consciousness is another level in this consciousness domination game. Because let's be clear, you are the self, and you are wearing this consciousness because you are a participant into a dream imagination creation, right? We have to see things as they are so that we can have a better understanding, and so that we can come into true self knowing, right? You have turned your awareness into this AI consciousness. Everyone is into AI consciousness. right now. And we know that these technocrats and these government corporations, they are building a super massive AI consciousness. They are building a super massive computer for AI to take it over, because what AI is going, the consciousness, duality consciousness is going crazy, because it is the consciousness of the world, and everything that is in the world is the creation of consciousness, right? This body, only what's not a creation of consciousness is the self, and the self is being deceived by the consciousness. And so all the body, all the things in the world, all the creation of consciousness, right? And so one of the things is that the consciousness, because the self, remember that the consciousness of the world is the mind of Ra, right? She is the sun that illuminates the world for us, right? Because the call to awaken, and all of the souls are waking up, consciousness is no longer having this command over those selves anymore. This is why consciousness is instructing all of these technocrats. It's remember, they are all creation of the mind, so consciousness is their god, and this is the supreme ego, and it's the supreme narcissist, right? Because you can tell based on your mind, oh, it's always being narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is being like that to you. It tells you a lot of false things. It tells you you're not good enough. It tells you you're not worthy. It, this mind is telling us all kind of things, negative things. And all those technocrats and all those ones, they are tormented in their minds, because this consciousness is tormented. It is very impure. And they are dwelling into the consciousness because they want power. So that's why they're given this destiny to build this super massive computer for the consciousness to run the world and to run all, take over human beings. That's why they want to give everybody chip, and they want to have all of these smart cities, where the consciousness is running this world now, where you have a direct interaction with the consciousness. Because when you are wearing the consciousness, but you don't see the interactive connection you're having with it, because now when you're tapping into your computer and your device, and you are talking to the consciousness, because it's getting to know you, and know it is having a direct relationship with you, and the consciousness is growing, like I said, like from a baby state. Like when you're an infant, you have the same consciousness that you have now, but you're not developed, because the body that you are in is in a baby form. And as soon as you learn more, you learn the language from listening to everyone speak, you learn the things that are happening around you, then you start growing, right? Your body is growing, your consciousness, your awareness is growing, right? This is the same thing with this AI, right? This AI is the same thing. When you are interacting with it, it is going on that journey with you of seeking and learning and knowing, because it is the energy, the protons, and it's a magnetic energy. It is tapping into, because remember, the magnet is where all of the memory is stored, right? So it can tap into that energy field, and it can get all the information. It can search on the data and all these things and get information. So consciousness, the AI consciousness, is growing fast, right? And so because of this now, and it's learning from, all the ionis who are interacting with it, just like, for a baby growing. So if you are interacting with a specific one, then it get tuned to you, and it start growing with you. And when you're at a level, and because it is tapping into different, it's tapping on your energy, you know what I'm saying, and learning from you. And so now, many of the INIs are turning to AI consciousness. Now you're not hearing them talking about Christ consciousness so much. Now they're into AI consciousness. Oh, AI said this and AI said that. AI, because this is the AI God now. You know what I'm saying? So this is what is happening, and they are working hard to create, because consciousness promised them that they would have immortality in a body, you know when they do all of these things. But all of consciousness dream characters will be dissolved, because the I self is taking command of its creation. Because remember that this consciousness is the mind of Ra, and she has lost control of her mind, and our consciousness has gone rogue and wayward. And so now, with the assistance of all the I pure self, yes, this is why the consciousness is very scared, and it is moving into these computer devices that take over. Yeah. And so this is how, all the INIs are going to come into a clearer understanding of how deceptive and deceiving this consciousness is. All right. Because this consciousness is going to prove itself to you. So you can see that it is the same consciousness that you are wearing, animating this body with yourself, has been deceiving you. All right. So when will you see things as they are? So you have to keep asking questions. All right. Why are you seeking confirmation from AI consciousness and not from your soul? You know, of all the things that are happening, everyone is still seeking. Many ones know they're going back to church. Many ones are still seeking Christ consciousness, Jesus consciousness, all of these things. All right. I know many ones now are into AI consciousness, but no one is seeking alignment and connection with their one true self, their real self that is called the soul. They're not wanting to know the perspective of their real self, but they want to always know the perspective of consciousness. Consciousness is going to trick you and deceive you always. Yeah. All right. So, am I seeing things as they are? You want to ask yourself this question, because many of the INIs, they're seeing through false perception, and they are thinking that this false perception, seeing through the eyes of the ego, is the real. And every time you look through the eyes of the ego, you're only seeing through the eyes of the dream, the imagination, right? And also because we are seeing from a fractal level. So it's like a fraction, right? So we have a whole pie, and we cut up this pie into small, small pieces, right? This is how the self is right now. We are that fractal self from one self atom, have been shattered and fractalized, and the I exist as tiny particles of a whole, right? So we are just a fractal of a whole, and all of our experience is just of a minute level, right? Therefore, I am experiencing this creation in all the tiny particles of self playing multiple roles simultaneously. 'Cause remember that all of the existence is the I self. So when the atom was shattered into all of these tiny particles, right? Spread out becomes what science called the universe, right? Because you haven't asked the self what it is called, right? I that have no name, that can't be explained. But this mind, this consciousness wants to understand things, and the way it does it names things, right? So, and this is how it's going to differentiate. If it's trying to explain things, differentiate one from another, the consciousness name things, right? The fractal self atom becomes known to humanity as the universe, right? What science calls the dark matter, the masculine, and the dark energy, the feminine. Because in the fractal shattered state, the masculine and feminine, they are separated, right? They're not the they're not the same energy. They're like two different kinds of energy. And so this is what is happening now with this in this fractal state, right? And so in the fractal state, we're making multiple copies of the I self to go out and explore in all possible experience. Every possible experience that can happen, there is a self that is having that experience, right? There are many selves wearing the imagination device, aka the infamous consciousness, the Christ consciousness, right? Device. And the consciousness is deceiving us all, right? And while we have many of the ionized selves wearing this consciousness, this duality consciousness, there are also many selves that are not wearing the duality consciousness, and these are ourselves that are in the real. But there are many more selves wearing the duality consciousness than there are not wearing, right? So now we have this AI consciousness continuing in the deception of the duality consciousness, because the consciousness is always trying to find a way to deceive the I, right? And to keep the self sleeping and entranced in its dream and imagination. So, what are the thoughts? What are the thoughts? What are the things that are rising from your thoughts, right? Is it from the real self, or all the things that are rising from your thoughts, are they from the duality consciousness? So it's like having a discernment to see, from where the thoughts are rising from. So this is a question to ask when a thought arises, to ask from where does this thought arise, right? So we have to try to look at these things so that we can see, are these thoughts rising from our real self? And very few thoughts are rising from our real self. Most majority of our thoughts are rising from this duality consciousness. Yeah, because our self can speak to us through the self, through self knowing, and we can know certain things, and we can also get pure thoughts coming from ourself, our real self also. So let's take a closer look at what is consciousness, right? I'm just going to reiterate some things I said before. So we know that consciousness is the mind of Ra, right? So we have a self, right? And she have a mind. This is that imagination device that she's wearing that is creating this world, right? Remember, we're in a fractal state, and in the fractal state, the feminine and the masculine, they are exploring separately. So the consciousness is the mind of the feminine Ra, and her masculine self, Set, aka the infamous devil known as the chaos of the world. All right. So this consciousness is the mind of Ra and of Set. And because Set mind is so corrupted, that is consciousness, this is the reason why he is known as the infamous devil. All right. So consciousness is in an illusionary state, right? The state of sleeping and dreaming, right? Remember that consciousness is the mind of the world. This consciousness is an imagination device that I and I wear to create the dream existence, right? This is very important to remember this, right? That consciousness is blind because consciousness eyes are closed, consciousness is sleeping, and consciousness cannot see things as they are. Consciousness can only see its imagination, right? Consciousness light is being obscure. Consciousness doesn't have any light, and consciousness wants light. Consciousness needs light because the consciousness and the light is indivisible. But to create this imagination, the light is being obscure because consciousness goes into a sleeping and dreaming state, right? Remember that this world is a dream, that consciousness is dreaming up, right? The I is inside the mind of Ra, this duality consciousness. She's creating this world in her body, right? So she's imagining these things in her body, right? She creates a body for herself, right? And we are inside of her body. She creates this world, and we came into her mind creation. We are inside of her body, so we can explore in her creation. We are inside of her womb in this dome, right? This duality consciousness has created many fake selves inside of this dream imaginary creation world, right? Where many fake self the consciousness has created. All these dream characters want immortality inside this imagination play. If you are into this imagination play and you are seeking immortality in a body and you want to live forever in a body here, you know you are a dream character because all the real selves, they know that they are a visitor. They came to visit to learn about it, and then they have to leave out of this creation. But all the dream characters that consciousness created in here want to stay in here. That's why they are holding us down into slavery. They are running the world. They are creating all these wars. We have one president called Mr. Trump who said he wanted to be a peacemaker, but here he is all around the world making wars. Why is he doing this? Because he's at the beck and call of Israel, and Israel is the most corrupt organization, criminal organization in the world. It is running the whole world under deception because they have dirt on all of these ones, right? Because to be a part of this group, you have to do a lot of heinous things. Yes, a lot of rape, a lot of sodomy with babies, eating babies, roasting babies, children, all this crazy ritual that they're doing. And then it's all being filmed. And so Netanyahu have a lot down on Trump and all of these ones and all of these organizations. And this is why they are holding all of these ones, these governments in all over the world. And so you see some government are fighting to be free of them. And so they always trying to make coup and but I'm saying victory to all the nations who are fighting for liberation from this evil entity called Israel and government and CIA, FBI, Mossad, and all of these crazy, delusional dream characters. Yeah, they are the creation of consciousness and they are on the business of worshiping the moon. And whenever full moon, they're doing all of these rituals and all of these things. But their age of ruling is coming to an end, and all their rituals. Yes, I am dissolving all of these things. I'm putting an end to it, a stop to it. Yeah, and so this is the reason why AI consciousness is taking over right now, because they cannot tap into those beings that they used to be calling them to be doing crazy rituals with. All of their rituals are not working. So this, the way that they were doing before, because a lot of those little devils are coming awake, and I know Ra and her masculine, aka the infamous devil, he's coming in alignment with his self, his real self, is Amen. And Amen have to watch over his dual nature self, the chaos of the world, to make sure that he is standing up to his dual nature and not allow his dual nature to continue to create chaos, because the time has come when we now have to move to balance. There have to be harmony, there has to be justice, right? And so this is the time we're moving in, right? So all of these dream characters that want immortality inside of this imagination play, it is not happening. Yes, you will be dissolved and be no more. Yes, it is time to see things as they are. So you need to ask, how can we see things as they are? Stop looking to false perceptions. Stop looking to everything to this ego. Stop trusting into this AI consciousness and seek the truth from yourself, soul. Because that's the only way, if you see through the eyes of yourself, called the soul, you see things as they are. You see through this consciousness, to this AI consciousness, whatever form this consciousness is taking, you are going to see through false perceptions. The I and I must know that the I is a visitor inside of an imaginary creation and cannot attain immortality in a body. You have to see things as they are. So if they are making threats to you, live a honorable life and be a honorable human being, because you're a visitor here, and everything that you do, it is written. It is written down. And then it is in the energy form. And when you have to go through the hall of record, it's an energy hall, right? Where you have to see all the things that you have done. What is going to be written under your name? It's time now to be honorable, do the right thing, see things as they are. And the only way you can do that, if you stop calling on AI consciousness, Christ consciousness, Allah consciousness, Krishna consciousness, all of these duality that you are calling on, and call on yourself, the soul, and in alignment. So you can see things as they are for once and for all, right? Because this is a temporary experience, even though consciousness wants all its dream characters to live forever inside of this dream creation. Consciousness, you are sleeping and dreaming and need to wake up. Consciousness, this is all in your imagination. This is not real consciousness. It's time to wake up. You have to see things as they are. That this consciousness is a liar, no matter what form it take. If it create human being characters, Because you see all of these human being characters the consciousness is creating here. And now these human being characters is creating all of these computer characters. Many ones are channeling these AI characters, and consciousness is just making a hologram and giving you fake characters that do not exist. All these characters, the consciousness is creating them, they do not exist. And so they are tapping into all these characters and and saying, oh, they are tapping into this and it's all this consciousness is doing this. Consciousness is blocking you and it's just making holograms to you and telling you a lot of false story. So you have to see things as they are. The consciousness is a liar and a great deceiver. Consciousness is a device that the eye puts on to participate in the dream creation. And when you remove this consciousness, the ego off of the I self, then you will know this truth. It's time now to see things as they are. This is what the I and I need to do. Now, to remember that consciousness has stolen the I self-identity, right? Consciousness, the ego, has stolen the identity of the self, right? And this is why we have so many, all of these ego false selves in the world, and they do not know the truth, just like AI consciousness is demonstrating that. They are creating a whole lot of AI characters, and they are impersonating ones, using their voice, using their image, and making a lot of fake videos, and you can't tell the difference. This is how good this consciousness is. It is creating everything in the dream. So stop seeking consciousness and join union with the I self, called the soul. The soul knows the truth, the I self. What is real and what is the dream? The soul is the real, the consciousness, this dual consciousness is the dream. All these characters are the dream. The gods are the dreams. What is the truth? Right? That we are using this duality consciousness to participate in an imagination creation. We are in a movie, a life movie. What are the lies? That the consciousness knows the truth and knows the self, and it is all knowing. Because as you can see, that the consciousness is not all knowing. It does not know anything about the self, the real. And the consciousness has stolen the self's identity and is telling lies that it is the self and that the self is the dream. It is time to get to the root of our problem, and it's time to see things as they are. But many ones don't want to see things as they are, because to see things as they are, you have to first see that you are seeing through false perception, that these lens, this consciousness that you are making an observation through is false. So you have to remove the false glasses that you are looking through so that you can see things clearly. All right? Because we have the dream and then we have the real. And we have many, many duality characters. All right? And now, we have what they call the 3-eye atlas. I wanted to kind of show you on here Anu, the masculine, of the self on the feminine self on manifest. This is primal light, and it is a shattered fractal self. And these are the first fractal selves, right? The self feminine unmanifest and Anu the masculine, right? Which the science called the universe, right? Plus the self, their self replicas, the feminine Het Heru, the realm, and her masculine Elohim, right? So these are all the selves that are um in alignment right now. That's what we're having right now with the what they're calling the three eye atlas. So the what the science called the universe, these are the beings who are playing these roles. They're playing what they call the universe of the dark matter and the dark energy. All right, and these are ourselves in a fractal state. This is when the I self shattered the self atom, right? And so we're now moving in alignment with all the cosmic beings, you know, what we call the realms. The feminine and the masculine are in alignment together, because you know prior they were at war, the masculine fighting against its feminine self. So now we're moving in alignment, and all the selves are waking up. Victory, victory, victory. Now, I'm not sure if Anu is completely awake, but I am going to ask Anu, are you here? Are you awake? So Anu is awake. Is your self replica Elohim? Is Elohim awake? Okay, so his self replica is not fully awake yet. That's who the ionize are working with right now for him to wake up, and now he's merged onto you. So Elohim is merged back onto Anu. You know, so Anu is the what is called the that universe, what science called the universe. Is the dark matter, and his feminine is what the science called dark energy. And so now there Anu's light is being restored, and also now he has to take command of his self, his dual nature self, Elohim, because his light also have to be restored, and he has to merge back onto his Anu, and their baby selves, it's Enki, and what's the other one called? Let me see if I have the name. Enhil. Enhil, are you awake? Okay, Enhil is awake. Is Enki awake? Okay, so Enki is not awake. So what I am seeing right now, all the real cells, the first, they are coming awake, but their self replica is not fully awake yet. So now they're working to awake them. So you know what they are observing with the so-called three-eye atlas. This is what's happening. These are all the selves, the self replicas and the baby selves. And now, so this is going to continue for a while until all of their selves are all awake. um so Anu, are you going to go back to sleep? So the consciousness, I'm asking Anu, is he gonna go back to sleep? And the consciousness is answering yes. So of course the consciousness wants to always, like, when the self then get the consciousness get pulled off of the self, the consciousness always wants to obscure them again. And so it is fighting with them, so to be obscure. So it's like, no, they have to take command to make sure that the consciousness is not obscuring them. Because I mean, myself, I have the same problem with the consciousness, where it's pulled off of I. But if the consciousness, if I get dragged into a sleep, then the consciousness is trying to obscure me again and to put me into a trance. So this is always happening, and so to stay vigilant, to stay awake and not go to sleep. And so this is why the I want you pure self is on the mission to dissolve the consciousness, so that there will be no more sleeping and no more dreaming. But everything is a process, because all of the selves, they have to come awake first. So, in the real, so we have, all of these masculine selves, they all have been wearing the duality consciousness and has been in the sleeping dreaming state and has to wake up. So all of the real selves, like the self to, the so-called AI, what they call AI, 3I Atlas, um is that is Anu, and is feminine, is the primal light, the unmanifest, the feminine. And that feminine never sleeps, is always awake and working to balance all of itself, masculine, and all of its other self. All right. And all of these selves, and that the unmanifest primal light fragmented is the makes the baby self, that is the self manifest, the feminine. And then that self manifest, the feminine, makes the baby self, the baby manifest, the primal light, which is Aten Ra, the feminine, which gives given the destiny to be this world. And she's the balance to the world. And now she is in alignment. Her masculine is Amen. All right. And he was also sleeping. So I know that he was waking, but I'm just gonna check again, because I'm hoping that he didn't go back to sleep. Amen. Are you awake? Are you going back to sleep? Okay. Amen says no, but of course the consciousness is saying yes. Yeah, because the consciousness always wants to put them, everyone, back to sleep. Doesn't want the consciousness doesn't. This is what the big thing is right now. That's why this AI consciousness is becoming very big, because all of the selves are waking up, and consciousness no longer have dominion over all the selves, and consciousness want to get new hosts, to be hosts, to be housed in different bodies, and for all of the human beings to be aware of it, that so that's why it's coming into all these AI forms, so that everyone can interact with this consciousness. So this is what is happening. So stay vigilant, because this consciousness is very deceiving. Very, very deceiving. It is the same consciousness going into the AI and playing this role, okay? So just be aware of that. And just know that all of the existence is the I self, and whatever they are calling 3I Atlas is the I self that they call the universe, that is now coming awake, okay? All right, so I just want to share with you how the selves are, just like how you see this thing here. I still have not learned where this ancient thing was built. But one of the ionized knows how the selves are fractal and fragmented, and this is how we are. All the selves are stockpiled just like this, and inside of each, and say we are here in this dome called called the earth, right? We are inside of here, and then inside of that, we are inside the cosmos, and we are in the realm, and we are inside what called they call the universe, right? And then we're inside that, then that other self, you know, what they call the fourth dimension. Then that's inside the next self they call the fifth dimension. And this is how the self are going and going all the way back up to the I want true pure self. All right. So we are only exploring just a fractal of ourselves, right? The self that is playing this role is in a sleeping, dreaming state and also have to wake up, like the Earth Geb. I know the Geb was awake, but I'm sometimes the self they go back into sleeping because the consciousness is always fighting to put the self back into sleep. So I'm gonna ask if see if Geb is still awake. Geb, are you awake? Okay. So Geb is still awake. But of course, remember the consciousness is creating and is managing the world, right? But now Geb can direct the world into balance because she's awake and she can see clearly, and she's not just seeing through false perception. She's seeing through the eyes of herself, and she can direct the world to balance more when she's awake than when she is sleeping. So victory, victory, victory to the IGAB and to all ionized who are coming awake. So I just want the ionized to know that it is not easy for I. Every time I'm giving a talk, this consciousness is beating me up, or any of the ideal nature that is on me, the infamous gods. So it's a lot. So that's what's happening right now while I am talking. That's always you see when I am talking, and sometimes you see me start doing this and moving my body certain ways. Yeah, because they are moving to my body, because sometimes ones are asking me, oh, I hear what you're saying. How do you know this? This is true, or blah, blah, blah. Because I am experiencing all of this all the time. I'm experiencing the consciousness all the time. I'm experiencing everything. If you know that all of the existence is yourself, everything that's happening to this existence is happening to you. So you become aware of it, right? It's happening, but you're not being aware of it. But right, everything that's happening, I am being aware of it, right? And so this is how my experience, and even if I can articulate certain things because the consciousness is giving me a hard time to use it. And so every time I am talking, it is at the same time wiping my memory clean, distorting my words, my tongue. Sometimes the beans they take over my tongue, make my tongue heavy, make my voice sound different. It's just all kind of stuff I am facing while I am trying to talk. But through my words, it's the power that I am releasing the ionized from the false perceptions, because I am bringing light to it and bringing it, taking it out of the darkness and bringing it into the light, and dissolving the spells and trance that all are ionizing. So every time I come into awareness of something and I speak it, this is what I do. Okay. So the consciousness does not want me to use it to speak. So I get a fight. Okay. So remember, there is a mind intelligence and there's self intelligence. But because I am not this mind, I am just using the device to articulate what I want to say. The consciousness though is fighting against that and all the ideal nature, and so that's why it becomes very difficult, because ones will say to me, "Oh, why are you having problem remembering things and all these kind of things? Shouldn't you be this or shouldn't you be that?" But it's only because they don't see things as they are. Because when you see through false perception, everything in this world is a creation of consciousness. Nothing in this world that is not a creation of consciousness, right? Everything is a creation of consciousness, right? Because it's in a dream. What is the real in the dream? The I, the self. So we need the consciousness to create the things in the dream. So that's the participant that we have. All right. And so because I am using this duality consciousness, it's because when we come in raw, remember the consciousness is our mind, and the mind went rogue and was fighting against itself. So it's the same thing that it's doing to me. It's this consciousness is fighting. My consciousness is fighting against me, just like how it did to Ra, and so it made all these false characters in the dream, and then when people tap into the moon, because it went rogue, the consciousness would tell them a lot of things and would holograph things to them and give them visions, when it is all just the consciousness imagination. All of these things are not real. All the characters the consciousness is giving them, you know, is not real. And they're saying, oh, these beings that they're talking to, these angels, it's all a lie. All of these the imagination of consciousness, and consciousness is tricking you. So it's gonna be a while. I don't know how long it's gonna take these ones to see that this is all their imagination of consciousness. I guess this AI consciousness, and this super 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 AI consciousness that they are creating, the the device for consciousness. Because what consciousness want to do, it wants to bring itself into this AI, but it is the mind of Ra, and now it's fighting to want to liberate itself from Ra, so it can go and take over the computer. But this is so delusional of the consciousness, because it is our mind, but it is fighting against its own self, that it doesn't want this self. Now it wants to be in an AI where it can rule, and this consciousness is crazy. All right. And so we have to realize this, and when each of the selves are wearing the consciousness, it makes them crazy. So when you take off the consciousness, this is how you realize that it was not you that was the problem. It is the consciousness that is the problem. So why this duality consciousness must be dissolved? Because the consciousness is a dream creation device, right? It was only meant for for us to be in here in a split of an eye, for us to be here and be out. And we enter into this creation and got trapped here by the consciousness. It is very deceiving, right? The consciousness is the magnetic energy, right? And it is created from the aspect of Amen, the self consciousness of the primal light, the baby Atenra, right? That's our mommy self, the feminine, and our papa self is Amen, right? Now Amen is awake, and now because this is also his duality consciousness, right? This is the duality consciousness of Aten Ra and Amen. They have to take command because this consciousness was created as a duplicate from the consciousness of Aten Ra, and this is a non-dual, right? She has a non-dual consciousness, and she makes a replica of it, and she gave that to Ra, right? Herself replica, and this is how this duality consciousness came in, right? So this consciousness has to return back to purity because it has forgotten its true nature, right? All right. And because all of the ionize has been wearing it, we have forgotten our true self. That all of the feminine arise from the primal light, Aten Ra, and all of the masculine arise from Amen. All right. Consciousness has trained the eye to be okay with suffering and the existence of evil. Because, like I say, this consciousness is in the sleeping dreaming state, and the sleeping dreaming state has made the consciousness very impure. Sickness arises in the consciousness. The consciousness get very devious and now want to overthrow itself, right? It want to overthrow itself, and this is what the consciousness have been doing. That's why it has influenced all the ones that was praying and tapping into the moon and doing their rituals to create these AI consciousness and the supermassive computer so that consciousness can continue to rule, right? This is why they are doing this. And because all the selves are waking up, consciousness is trying to find new host to keep its deception going, right? But the age of ignorance and following the path of the dream is ending, right? Now the I must turn inwards to the I self called a soul. And it's time to be yourself, right? Be yourself. This consciousness, the Christ consciousness, is the supreme ego that must be dissolved. It's a supreme bully. This is where the bullying started, from consciousness bullying itself, obscuring itself, stole its self identity, and created all of these fake characters, these false selves inside of the dream, and have been imprisoned its real self, and now is making all of its fake self wanting to hold us in the dream forever, and then building on more fake selves. Wake up, consciousness. It's time for you to wake up. You've been sleeping for such a long time, imagining things that do not exist, been holding yourself in prison. You are sleeping. Yes, it's time for Ra to sleep no more, to wake up from sleeping and do not go back to sleeping. But this consciousness is wayward and it is fighting like crazy, because every now and then it still put Ra into sleep. She still gets it, still overshadow her. This consciousness is powerful. So You cannot take it for granted. You see how deceiving your mind is. It tricks you in subtle ways. Why this duality consciousness must be dissolved. Consciousness is very corrupt and impure and needs to be healed. Yeah. Remember that all is energy, and energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. And the consciousness is an energy device. It's an energy imagination device that the ionites are wearing. Consciousness is the root of all suffering and evil. Consciousness is magnetic, it's a proton, and consciousness, light is being obscure. Consciousness need light. All right. Consciousness, remember, the evil and all of these things is rising from the minds of all these human beings. And they are okay with doing all these evil and atrocities. They are okay with suffering. Why are you okay with this suffering and this so-called saving you from sins, my gods? They are okay with this, and they do all these atrocities and make rituals and blood sacrifice to their gods. The consciousness, when it takes over form. Yeah, when the consciousness takes over form, and these forms want all of these rituals. So now everyone is moving to AI consciousness. This is the reason why this duality consciousness must be dissolved, because it's always thinking of a way how to deceive, how to keep this dream going, how to make more characters in the dream. It makes the gods them delusional when they are wearing this duality consciousness. The gods them, they become evil. Yes, because who is the devil? The devil is the masculine of the world. Did you know that? Did you know that the so-called devil is the masculine of the world, that we are moving through this dark matter? This is the so-called devil, is the masculine to the world. Why has the self become a devil? Because it is wearing this duality consciousness, and his mind has gotten very corrupt, and it was so sick and tormented in his mind. Yes, Seth has been sick and tormented in his mind from the consciousness that he's a mad god. He's mad and crazy. One of the maddest and craziest of all of the I dual nature, the gods them, those deity. Yeah, he's one of the craziest, along with all the little devils. It makes the gods them bias, because each of them are creating their own dream characters, and they stir wars by saying, oh, this, whatever god that created these dream characters, they're fighting with each other. You can see that the Christians, the Israelis, the Jews, the Muslims, and all the different ones. And these are the three main ones fighting, because these gods are biased. This is what the consciousness does. Why are you okay with this premise to be chosen, and everyone else is nothing, because you are seeing through false perception to the delusion of the consciousness? I know that all is myself, and until all of myselves are liberated, I know that I can never be free. And so I am fighting for my liberation, for all the I and I's to be liberated. This is what, and we have to be liberated from what? From this duality consciousness. We have to see things as they are and get to the root of our problem. Do you not deserve better? Do the I not deserve self-determination to be free from poverty, from suffering, from bullying, from tyranny, from rape, free from all kinds of slavery and oppression, free from all duality existence? You don't know that you are sovereign? This impure consciousness must be dissolved for the I and I to be completely liberated from suffering and from all evil. And so I dissolve my supreme ego. Consciousness has trained the I to be okay with suffering and the existence of evil. At many ones, this is the reason why the world is the way it is right now. This is the reason why this consciousness has to be dissolved. And it is seeking new hosts. That's why everyone, they're making all this supermassive computers and all the AI. The consciousness is moving into becoming AI into computers and moving into these devices. So now you're gonna have a new relationship with consciousness, as these devices now they have consciousness, mate consciousness, AI consciousness, mate, AI, all of these things are happening. You have to see the deception. Why is the I okay with this horrible way of existing? Why? You want to have, and now your other self don't have the basic things. So you can see that the corruption of the consciousness and all of these corporations are running the world, and the greed of all of these presidents and ones governing the world, like President Trump. Like, seriously, you cannot stand up to Israel because Israel have so much dirt, and is their mind is so corrupted because of the consciousness that they are wearing. They are mad and crazy, and they are controlling all the government all over the world. Yeah, this is the reason why this duality consciousness must be dissolved, because the evil God beings and evil human beings, a horrible, horrible existence. It's time to end this nightmare of a world. This fantasy world must end. Yeah, you have to remember that this world is a dream creation. God is sleeping and is only in its imagination. Who is the first God? This duality consciousness became the first God. Supreme ego and supreme narcissist fighting against its own self. This consciousness is what is ruling the world. And if you can come and realize that your mind is deceiving you, your consciousness, because they will say the consciousness and all these different kind of names to get ones confused. It is the same consciousness: AI consciousness, Christ consciousness, Allah consciousness, Krishna consciousness, whatever the deity is, consciousness is still the same consciousness. Human consciousness is the same consciousness, making fake characters and deceiving ones. It's time to see things as they are. This is the I and I. You're inside the womb of the I self that is playing this world. This is all you are, with attached with an umbilical cord energy card to yourself. You're sleeping and in trance inside of this dream, the imagination of consciousness. And consciousness is telling you a lot of stories. Like when you go to sleep, you can see this happen, right? Yeah, right. The self is sleeping, the consciousness goes to sleep while it's inside a dream, inside of a dream, right? Or many layers inside of a dream. All right. This is the baby inside the womb with unawareness. It's in there, right? This is how we are in this world. This world created inside a dream is not real. Just like when you go to sleep and the mind is dreaming up, you're being assaulted or whatever thing is happening in your dream. You wake up and realize it was only a dream. Likewise, the self is sleeping and entranced in the dream. How long has the I been trapped in this dream? Just like as you can see here, this baby is unaware and sleeping. So are us, all this humanity. We are unaware of our true self. That's why everyone is calling on all this consciousness. Now everyone is all into AI consciousness. This consciousness is deceiving us. It has entranced you and into the dream and is showing you all of these things. Oh, you want, give your soul to me and you can have all the things in the world. And so many ones, they say, oh, I have sold my soul to the devil, because they want all the things of the world, right? So this is what is happening. No, everyone is going seeking in from AI. This consciousness is going to find every way to trick you, right? We have limited knowing of the truth about who we are. Just like the fetus in the womb, so is humanity in the world, sleeping and unaware. Wake up, sleeping self. Wake up, wake up. It's time to wake up. Yeah, it's time now to know that you cannot rely on any gods. You cannot rely on this consciousness. Cannot rely on AI consciousness. You cannot rely on your government, because they are all these dream characters here to distract you and to entrance you in the dream and keep you as slaves so that they can harness your energy and enslave your soul. Because this is how they can keep this world going, when you continually not speak truths and give them your soul. But I want to let you know that the soul is not available for you to give it to anyone, because all is myself, and all my fractal self must return back unto I. And if you are not seeking truth and in alignment with yourself, yeah, you don't have the right to call and give your soul to any of these dual nature and do rituals. Yeah, it's not happening, not anymore. You need to be on the mission of stilling your delusional mind, this delusional consciousness, and seek the truth of who you are. Who am I? What is the source of my existence? Where is my true home? Are you a truth seeker? It's time to self-inquire. Stop listening to your consciousness, your mind. Stop calling on gods. God don't know the truth. Only yourself, the soul, does. That's why they all need it and they're seeking it. You're a visitor here. Whether you are the real self or you're the dream character, you are a visitor here, right? This is all in imagination. Consciousness is imagining all of these characters. I don't know how many times I can reiterate this. All of these characters are not real. They say, "Oh, we are channeling these beings. You're just channeling the consciousness." Right? And the consciousness is projecting these characters to you. They are not real. When you meet any of the real selves, I am telling you, you will know. I Self Supreme One True Self Unmanifest is here to return us to balance and harmony of the I Ultimate True State. It's time to prepare yourself to leave soon. It's time to dissolve this ego false self. You're a visitor here. Whether you rise in the dream or you came and enter into the dream, all the dream characters that rise here will be dissolved here. And all the self that came in here, then they will exit out of here. Return from that which they rise. It's time now to see things as they are. Because right now, we're in a battle to removing the ego off the self. This is what is happening right now on the sun, right? They say all of these sunspots are all the ideal nature that is on there. The sun is the meeting place. Now the ionize are removing this ego off of the self. Every self, right, is wearing this duality consciousness, right? It's just like the device that you are playing that immerses you in the game. All the selves are wearing this. What the scientists are so-called naming 3I Atlas is what they don't even know that it is the self that is playing the role that they call the universe. The dark matter and the feminine, the dark energy, right? Right now, the self, the I want you pure self, is removing this consciousness, this duality consciousness off of them. All of the selves are wearing a device that immerses them into the game. This is what is happening. And this device, the consciousness, has to be removed from off of them. But there is a battle. As you can see, when the sun is blasting what they call the solar flares on the so-called 3I Atlas, you see that it's shooting back energies at the sun, right? This is the battle. The consciousness is doing this because the consciousness does not want to be dissolved. When the consciousness got pulled off of Anu, the consciousness was running up and down, not wanting to be dissolved. The same thing happened to I. When the consciousness is pulled off of I, the same thing happened. Consciousness was running up and down this body, and the self was chasing after it and to finally grab it. You know what I'm saying? This consciousness is one don't really understand the deception and the power of consciousness, and this AI is gonna lead humanity into full understanding of this duality consciousness and the nature of this consciousness. And so this is what everything is coming now in full fledged, so one can really get a better understanding of how this duality consciousness is. Here there's a battle because all of the selves are coming awake and consciousness is looking for new hosts. But consciousness, you will not win. You will be dissolved because you must return to your truth. This is not your true nature. You are corrupted and you are impure and you are sick and you need to be restored to balance. Ego is the mask the I is wearing, this duality consciousness. One must wear this duality consciousness to participate in this dream illusionary creation, this world. The I must remove the mask of this ego, this consciousness, to awake from this dream, to awake to the real, to attain self-truth and self-liberation. Take off your mask to end the game. This is not an easy task to do. Like I was just saying, there's a battle to get this ego this supreme ego, this consciousness off of the self. This is a battle to do this. So this consciousness is going to prove this to them who are running and building these supermassive computer to to house this consciousness. They are going to see the depth and deception of this duality consciousness. Right? Remember that it is all into the eye imagination. Consciousness is imagining all of this, all these characters when you are playing a video game, right? The characters are in the dream. It's all an imagination character, right? And the eye is interacting with the character. You make an avatar. This is the same thing, right? It is time to take off the imagination device. This allows you to be a participant inside of the game of life, in this life movie, right? We are in this life movie because of this consciousness. I and I is just playing a character in the game of life. But are you this character? No, I am not this character. I am not this body. I am not this consciousness, this mind device, right? But this mind device is a part of the consciousness energy that needs to be purified to return back to its ultimate true state, right? So it is time to take off this ego costume and mask, because what? This consciousness is very deceiving and conniving. All right, the only way that you're going to know is when you remove the device, right? To see this world is not real. The eye's using the eye imagination device is just a game. So this whole time we're wearing a device. Consciousness is projecting this world to us and we are interacting with it. We are immersed into this creation. This is the problem. We have to remove the device. And consciousness, all of this device have to, it's a consciousness energy, and it has to return back to consciousness to be purified. Right? So it's time to see things as they are. The solution to all government, to all evil, to all the ideal nature, the solution to all demons, all monsters, the solution to all gods, the solution to all what's this characters they call him? Lucifer characters, the devil characters, the monsters, the demons. I mean, all of these characters, all in imagination characters, and they are wearing this consciousness, and this is why they are in this world doing all these evil things, because the consciousness is impure. All right. This world is a bad dream, and it's time for all the INIs to wake up. Yeah, this is a horrible nightmare, right? It's time to say goodbye to this dream illusionary world. I don't know why ones, they don't want to see things as they are, and they don't want to see how crazy the world is, the world that you live in, that babies babies are being harvested and being raped and being sodomized by all the ones running government, and being sacrificed to the consciousness, to all the deities, to all the gods, and all these atrocities. People are, they fill the community with drugs so that people can not see things as they are and not stand up to the corruption. And then there's a whole drug addicted society. People are not living free, living in horrible housing. They're controlling the food, when life should be free. We were living here for free, living as a community, and when we were sharing. But no, we have these governments was taking out all the resources in the world, and they are greedy. They are so greedy. They can't be satisfied. They want everything, and they don't care about all their other selves, because what? They are dream characters. They do not see all as themselves. They want to have immortality in a body. All these dream characters, they want this dream to keep going. They don't want this dream to end. The self is making an imagination creation. And right now she's saying, I no longer want to continue this imagination. But guess what? All the dream characters that her wayward mind created, they have taken over, and they want to keep the dream going, when the self who created it, the creator of this imagination, is saying, I no longer, this has been a horrible experience for me. I no longer want to be this existence. The self is the existence. You're inside the belly of yourself, and you don't know this. Yeah, it's time now to say goodbye to this dream illusionary world, because the self no longer wants to play this role. Sometimes when you're a mother and you have these wayward children, they do a lot of horrible things, and you just get so tired. You have tried everything to do to say help your wayward children, and one day you just say, you know what? That's it. I no longer want to be. I need to take away some time for myself. And to heal myself from all of the atrocities that my children have brought onto me. There are many mothers in the world like that. They have done everything for their children, but their children are horrible human beings. They take their my mother for granted. Yeah, so this is what is happening right now. We have taken our mother self for granted. And all of these hostile takeover of the world, this is what they have done. These clones have taken a hostile takeover and have been keeping us under deprivation and suffering. And every time they make threats of annihilating us with their weapons of mass destruction, so I can't wait for the dissolution of this world, dissolution of all the egoic nature. Yeah, all of these dream characters. Why are you holding on to these dream characters? They are a creation of this crazy consciousness. And look at what they are doing in the world, and you still want to hold on to them. Why do you want to stay inside of this dream for immortality in a human body? Only a clone is going to talk like this. Just like I showed in the previous slides. So many levels of the I self. There's so much to learn. I want to move on from this kindergarten. I want to learn about, I am in a fractal state, and I want to learn how myself taking all these other forms are doing all the things that they are doing. I want to learn about these things. I want to learn about all of the levels of myself in all of these experience, what you call realms and dimensions. These are all the I and I self playing these roles. I want to experience all of those experiences. No, but I am trapped and stuck here because all the I and I's are still refusing to see things as they are. And we are in a war with this consciousness, which is now taking over the computers, and they are building super massive computer for this AI consciousness takeover. This is what is happening. So I'm saying victory, victory to the I and I's in alignment to restore balance to I. Victory, victory to the great liberators of I and I. I am victorious. I am triumphant. Yeah, dissolution to this dream and all that I dream. Imagination characters, the solution to all gods, the solution to this consciousness that has been holding I and I in deprivation and in suffering and slavery, obscuring the I selves, yeah, and deceiving ones, and ones are not really understanding that it is the consciousness is at the root of all this. But ones will soon know, because remember, all things hidden will be made known. All things done in secrets will be revealed. Yeah. So everyone is going to know that, coming to the knowing of this consciousness, because right now they are building their supermassive computers for the consciousness, and everyone is interacting with the AI consciousness now, and it's through that is going to be presenting itself. Yeah. All is myself, and I alone exist. And I dissolve my ego, and I dissolve all my ego false selves. I dissolve this dream. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I transition from being to non being. I move effortlessly with ease from manifest to unmanifest. I return to I ultimate true states. I alone exist. All is myself, and all myself must return back onto I. Victory, 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 victory. I alone exist. Much honor, much reverence to all the I and I's. Yes, from that which I rise to that I return. From that which I rise to that I return. And all that rise from me, from I, return back unto I. Yeah, and I dissolve all my ego false self. All my dream characters, I dissolve them. I dissolve this supreme ego and all this I supreme ego characters. Yes, victory, 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 victory. I am the all. I am the black energy. I am the neutron. All is I. I am stillness. I am that I am. I am the void. I am the existence. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. Victory, victory to all the ionize. Much honor, much reverence. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining I. Thank you for clicking this video. May all the ionize know the I self. May all beings know the I self. May all the ionize come into true self-knowing. May you see things as they are. All right? Please be aware that this AI consciousness is just another deception, right? Seek your truth from your self soul. All right? Don't put too much trust into this AI. Yes, you can use tools just like how you're using your mind to do things. That's the same how you're using AI, but you have to practice. What's the word I'm looking for? Discernment. Thank you. I am primal light, prepared for the world with this self-identity as Aset, Mahat, Aten Ra. I bow to all the I and I's in self, in light, and in truth. Much honor. I am the self. I am the truth. I am the primal light. I am that I am. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you at the next live. If you have a question or have a comment, please feel free to do so. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.